The same situation that happened with Birthright's ending also happened here. For those who are just watching Conquest, I'll explain it again. I originally recorded this footage a long time in the past compared to when it's actually been uploaded. It was recorded right after I recorded Conquest Endgame. The reason there's been such a delay is that I found out after I uploaded the Birthright ending that the credits version of Lost in Thoughts All Alone, YouTube has a copyright bot on it that mutes the entire video if it detects it there. So I've had to mute that part of the video. Unfortunately, that means I lost my live commentary on the credits. Everything else, my live commentary is preserved, but on the credits themselves, I lost my live commentary because the way I record commentary, it's basically fused with the game audio. There's no way I can isolate the tracks, so I couldn't mute the game audio without also muting my commentary. Because of this, I had to redo my commentary over the credits as post-commentary, but just as I was about to do that, my old microphone broke. And yeah, given other circumstances and other things like that, it's been a while before I could actually do that redone commentary. But now that I have, also bear in mind that it's on a different microphone, and that's what you're hearing here, so you'll hear my voice sound a little bit different. The parts that I originally recorded will be on the old microphone, and the new parts will be on this microphone. So, with that out of the way, let's go to the ending. Rest well, Takumi. It's all over. Takumi?
Thank you.
Thank you too, for still believing in her. For still being there. Thank you. You single-handedly redeemed archers. Now we must say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sacrifices were made, but at least only 2 of the Hoshidan royals died, and one of them wasn't even by our hand. Yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, I think I know who's behind all this, but unfortunately, Kamui won't get to confront him until the 3rd path. No. They serve as, like, my guess so far is they serve as, like, the point to which someone can latch onto. Yeah, there is. I know there is. Not until Revelation, at least.
Big brother.
It's over. And all of you are alive. Sacrifices were made, but now the world will know the truth about Garen, and thus they will probably not blame Nor as much as they would have. And well, the real Takumi went down a hero, at least. Everything we've lost. Justice is not an illusion, Xander, you finally realized.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Azura made it pretty explicit at the start of this one what was going to happen to her, so I'm bracing for one more sacrifice.
What?
Oh, Lisa's going to take this really hard. Perhaps the lake? Or Mikoto's room. Those are at least my guesses. Yeah, something she wanted to do.
Well...
Everything's okay.
Yeah, we need to make sure there's no more fighting anymore. We also need to let them know that, that something got Takumi and that, well... Takumi was a hero to the end. What he did here was not his fault. Yeah, anyone would be wound up after a battle like that. That was a pretty satisfying final chapter, but, huh.
Now.
Wow, Gunter's here! Hey, nice one, Gunter! Yeah, on Birthright you may have disappeared without a trace, but here you're alive and well, thanks to Kamui and Azura's efforts. One more life saved. Just like I saved Hinata and Oboro too, and I don't regret that at all. As well as Kagero and Sizor. Yes, thankfully he has no longer been succeeded by King Giant Hand, not a villain. Now we'll have King Good Prince, Benevolent Ruler Man. That's a mouthful. Does feel a bit weird to have this hopeful scene in the middle of a dark castle, though.
Big brother.
Xander's definitely worthy of it,
Yes.
but fortunately that means that he'll have even less time for release now.
True.
Yeah, something tells me that she's watching, but don't think she's with us anymore. I think that the reason why Azura left was maybe she didn't want us to see her die. And again, this doesn't make all that much sense if she's married to one of these people who's present. I like to think if she did die, she'd probably let Kaze and Midori see her in her final moments, and Shigure. Yes, disappeared like the ocean's grey waves. And disappeared like that darkness inside Takumi, thankfully, and like King Giant Ham, not a villain.
Yes. Okay.
Nor will never have an evil king again.
You have my gratitude.
However, Xander does look a little bit like he's hamming. Yeah, hopefully they took things remarkably well. No thanks to Hans and Iago summoning a bunch of faceless. Thankfully, they're gone now. I won't allow it is pretty much his catchphrase, admittedly. Oh, hey, that's cool. And let everyone know that, that king that caused all of this was not the Garen that we all knew. Not the Garen Xander knew, at least. Oh, that's interesting. Here's to that, Xander. Yes, because sadly he lost himself to despair, and then that thing took over. Yes, they will, but I don't know if Azura will.
Nicely done.
No, at least Elise is happy over this. Even though, yeah, Xander won't have as much time for her anymore.
Hey.
I think someone else was actively trying to bring shame upon the whole royal family, but thankfully he's dead now. Uh-oh. Gunter giving people a nasty stare, considering that he's been in a place that does bad things to people, that actually worries me quite a lot. And may another war like this never happen again. And may no one ever get possessed and turn evil and invade places again.
Yes. Oh? What?
Hi there, Hinoka!
Well,
Hey, they came for this. That's great.
no.
Well, that's good. They can visit. But you do realize that your brother kind of died.
Thank you. Hey!
Okay, this is nice that these two get to be friends now. I was about to say something about Birthright, and then, yeah.
Yes!
One of the best things about this route is that at least gets to be happy. Your coronation ceremony.
Oh my. What?
So, I actually totally expected that Hinoka would die and that Sakura would become queen. Because Sakura wears Mikoto's outfit when promoted, and it seems like Sakura would actually do a pretty good job. But, yeah, seems like Hinoka became one.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, now that Ryoma's gone.
I'm so sorry.
But unfortunately, something else, I would say blame Takumi, but blame evil Takumi for what happened.
Huh?
Yeah, that would be a burden, but eventually you'll come to respect them. Takumi definitely didn't hold any
Big
grudges.
sister. But
Yeah, that is understandable. Yeah, that is natural.
knock it off.
Okay, at least you'll be moving forward towards that. Though, hell, fixing Aboro will be hard, especially since, yeah, Aboro is gonna be... Yeah, she's gonna be completely distraught after she finds out that what happens to Takumi.
I'll try my best.
Sakura should be able to help people out, though. Yeah, after you fix the place and suck up all that dark water, yeah, that's gonna take a while. The Lord of All Broken did a real number on that place.
Yes. Come on. Yes. You know it.
I'm sure Elise will enjoy it. And this looks like the beginning of a great friendship for Elise and Sakura. This line's almost identical to one that happens on
Right.
Birthright.
Huh?
Huh. And how did they get all this? Oh, I'm guessing that King Giant Ham Not a Villain was probably stockpiling all of the food reserves for himself this whole time and keeping everyone else in poverty. So now it's like, oh hey, now that he's dead, yeah, everyone else can have this stuff.
Right? Oh dear.
And ladies, don't forget you're married, Leo.
Listen up.
Yeah, definitely gonna need to make a good impression of the lords and ladies, because, that caused issues later in Garen's life, let's just say. The fact that the ladies got a bit, yeah, they all went a bit insane and started killing each other.
All right.
Oh no, that's a bad idea. Felicia, unless you get lucky again and somehow fail at making bad food and make good food instead, yeah. Oh, okay, Kaze gets to be in this scene. That's good. Yeah, you haven't had Norian food before. At least his brother's still alive, so hopefully they can make up after everything that happened. Yeah, this is how Nor was supposed to be.
All right.
And let's do something about the decorations here. Now that King Giant Ham Not a Villain no longer runs the place, we can get rid of all these evil spikes and cages and ominous stuff and yeah, replace it with a nicer looking castle. We have to keep walking until we see the light, and the light here was that the family that raised Kamui are still around. And that the truth was revealed, and that peace has finally happened between both kingdoms. And that Nor is finally happy after all this time.
Phew.
Why do I get the feeling, though, that there is one more tragedy in our future? Yeah. It's not the exact same place, but it's similar.
You are the ocean's great waves.
I wonder if she's... Hi there, Azura. Your clothing looks quite badly
Azura.
battered. Is that because of what happened of her being defeated in that chapter, or is this always here? Please don't say dead.
Azura? Hey.
Well,
Well,
I certainly think that Rena Strober singing is absolutely amazing.
I see.
It's actually probably one of the best translated songs I've ever heard in a game. Huh.
Oh. Truly. Huh? Go on. Understood.
And you're going to open your eyes and she's going to be gone. Yeah.
Thank you. Azura. Yeah.
We will one day, on another path, the final path.
Hey,
That's interesting. Oh!
Come on, hurry up.
This is...
Oh.
Really?
Oh, let me help.
Did you oversleep again?
Is your collar inside out again?
Better hurry up then.
you're just in time. You've always had a gift for that. No doubt you always will.
Interesting.
There was no sense in this war. Only madness and greed. War is monstrous. We're told to make war to support our country. But it's a lie, told by those who profit from bloodshed. In my reign as Nor's new king, I vow to seek peace and understanding. With you to guide my hand.
That's... Okay, okay, so I will say that, like, the ending itself was not quite as satisfying as the Birthright ending, but that cutscene was a lot more satisfying than Birthright's final cutscene. That was really interesting, and we got some good insight into Xander there, those lines he said. I like that final cutscene, aside from the obligatory Camilla fan service, I like that final cutscene a bit better than Birthright's final cutscene. So anyway, I guess I should talk a bit about my thoughts on the game. This music's a bit different as well. After all that, one thing that I will mention as well about the ending, it's kind of interesting. I like how much more subtle they were with Azura's sacrifice here, because it's implied that Azura may have died off screen, but it's not 100% confirmed. And I find that quite interesting. It's really interesting that they leave that ambiguous and up to the player's interpretation. And it's I won't say anything because I was promising not to give spoilers, but yeah, that was, I kind of prefer the subtlety to that than what they did on Birthright, let's just say. It's really quite interesting. But anyway, overall, so oh boy, yeah, so a lot of people are very critical of Nor's storyline. Me personally, I think it and Hoshido are still about equal. I'll put it like this, Hoshido's story to me ranges from bad to mediocre. Nor's story ranges from really bad to extremely good. And overall, the very good moments in this story actually did outweigh, feel better than Hoshido's good moments to me for a lot of this. I will say, yeah, Roma's death, much better handled than Xander's death overall. The final chapter, the final battle against Garen, that was so much more satisfying than it was on Birthright. the chapter itself was actually really fun. The fight itself, getting some closure, actually getting some depth to Garen without him coming off as just 53 turns on Rainbow Sage. Wow. I mean, yeah, it's funny. This is going to sound like a controversial opinion, but I really like Slime Garen as a villain. Namely, they're really intimidating, but also the fact that you still have that element of tragedy with knowing who Garen once was. The fact that he was corrupted into being that just monstrous villain, and the fact that the Norse siblings had to put up with that, and when they finally find out the truth, just how horrified they are to learn that the person they thought was their father is actually a monster, and then coming to grips with that. Xander's development in Chapter 27 was amazing, and overall, you don't really learn the full truth on the Birthright route, and that really just makes Garen feel like just another cartoonish Saturday morning cartoon villain with no real depth, and here I actually found it quite interesting. I think the real problems are Hans and Iago. On this route, Hans at least should have died much, much earlier into the game. You did not need 3 completely over-the-top villains who were just the hate sinks. You did not need 3. Garen was enough. Iago as well, they really could have given him motivation. It's just like, yeah, they could have. My theory was that maybe, like, I hope that Iago would have known about Slime Garen, neither was the one behind him, or was willingly serving him. But no, he just, I don't know, he's just basically nothing of a character. Hans, you should have killed him back in Chev. That's what I think. I think after he does that in Chev, this would have fixed a lot of criticisms about the Avatar's character as well. I think what should have happened is, you should have fought and killed him there, you should have had to claim to Iago and Garen that he was killed by the rebels. And that would give just another thing that the Avatar has to hide from Garen. And it would give another element of tension. It would also make them not look just weak and just going, because, yeah, the fact that they just watched on as just people were slaughtered. Really, the only parts of this story that felt really bad to me were the bit where you enter Hoshido and Hans and Iago are just slaughtering random civilians and you just have to sit there and watch. That too. That part of the story is, the bit that annoys me about that is, you feel like you have no real agency because the villains undo everything that you try and do. The main character just doesn't have any agency because, yeah, everything gets undone by the villains. But it's funny, other than that, I am not actually that against Conquest story. The finale, I know that the invasion of Hoshido is kind of bad overall, but the actual chapters, oh boy, the final chapters. Apart from Conquest 25, which was horrendously bad, but apart from that, Conquest 22 through 24 were all some of my favorite chapters of the entire series. Map design throughout the whole route was fantastic. The characters were great. They were actually surprisingly well balanced too. Like, I couldn't find anyone who was particularly bad or anything. Xander might feel overpowered, but you really needed him later on in the route. And overall, oh my god, Fire Emblem theme, really? Yes, I knew we'd get the Fire Emblem theme at some point. Actually does fit with, you know, Zarin being the more classical medieval king. That's cool, I like having the Fire Emblem theme there. Reminds me a little Path of Radiance in that regard, but, yeah. So yeah, overall, apart from Chapter 27, the gameplay definitely redeems this route for me so much. It's, honestly, gameplay-wise, I find it very hard to fault apart from, like I said, Chapter 25, which is just downright horrible. It's kind of weird. I don't actually hate Endgame all that much. I was bracing, maybe it's because I was bracing for, I mean, people told me it was absolute just hell, and it really wasn't that bad. Like, the characters that I lost on Endgame, I honestly feel like I could have avoided those losses. And yeah, now we get this song, which I'm really hoping won't get the video muted. Oh, pass me, you poor, unenlightened fool. So, post-commentary time. Kind of interesting that Felicia never got used on Conquest at all, yet Jacob had 3 battles on Birthright. I honestly forget what I used Jacob for there. But anyway, I'm just going to give my thoughts on all the pairings here, and for characters that didn't get paired, I'll just give my thoughts on them, or if I use them or not. Like Birthright, characters are going in order of least used to most used, and characters that I already talked about on Birthright, yeah, there's not much I can really say here, like Izana. I think at this point in my live commentary, I was mentioning how I think gameplay-wise, Conquest is one of the best games in the series. The removal of true hit aside, that just adds so much more luck to the game, which you really don't need when things are this hard. But anyway, we actually get an ending for Flora this time, even though I never used her. That would have changed if male Kamui had gone with this route, but that's good that she never stopped visiting her sister. And so she became the new village chief. And Forrest, yeah, unfortunately I never used him. That's going to change on Revelation though. I'll try and use him, and I'm sure he'll be pretty good with Sakura as his mother. Father and uncle, okay, that would be Xander, interesting. Maybe, seeing as Oboro is alive on this route, maybe he could go and meet up with Oboro and go into a fashion business together. And then there's Shura. Unlike Birthright, Shura actually did get used on this route. A little bit. 3 battles, unfortunately none of them were Kotaro. I really wish I saw that conversation, but I didn't. Which is annoying. And his ending, I believe, is identical to Birthright, which is interesting despite the fact that it mentions the Hoshiden royal family, which is kinda decimated here. And sadly, Nyx. Yeah, I'll use her more in Revelation, though I have been told that she has a pretty bad start there, like a lot of characters do. But there is grinding on that route at least, so yeah. She seems to be pretty much what I'd expect. Massive magic and speed, terrible everything else, but really magic and speed is all she needs. And no, she is not extremely young, Bards, you've got that wrong. And I actually did use Shigure a little bit here. Sadly, he never activated lethality. That would have been cool. But, yeah. I'll use him a bit more in Revelation. People have actually mentioned that the yellow eyes that he has reminds them of morphs from FE7, which actually makes sense now I think about it. And yes, that last line there is one of the saddest character endings I've seen in a Fire Emblem game. Apart from Wolf's in FE12, which heavily implies that he killed himself. But anyway. Ignatius, I'm pretty sure all of those battles were during his paralogue. He actually might be quite good with Charlotte as his mother. I might have to grind him in DLC just on my own time. And look, there's the Fates Lost in Thought All Alone theme. That's the reason why I have to mute this part of the video. And yeah, her. Again, she only really fought in a paralogue, but from what I've heard, stat-wise, she's actually quite good, so, and yeah, another mysterious character who ends up shrouded in mystery. Well, she's at least more skilled at that than her father. And, hey, it's Gunter. I actually do think, despite his terrible growth rates, Gunter's actually very useful for the few chapters you have him, especially as a pair-up or dual-strike partner. But yeah, his ending certainly implies things, let's just say. That might become more apparent on Revelation. I am looking forward to that. And it's male Kana, yeah, who I never used, yeah. And his ending is pretty much identical to female Kana, except with the gender pronoun switched. So, another reason why I don't like them as much as Morgan, nearly as much as Morgan, because I feel that both their personalities are just way too similar, whereas with Morgan, the male and female are quite different. Oh yeah, I dropped Silas in this route, sorry. Almost forgot about him. Yeah, Silas is great, and really, yeah, using him might have made the earlier chapters a lot easier because of just how good he is, but we get to see his solo ending at least. Lead Knight in the castle and stayed friends with Kamui, which is nice. And Sigbert, I actually really wish I had used him more, I just didn't really have room on my endgame teams. But he seemed pretty good, actually. And yeah, he seems to represent the other side of Fire Emblem Lords, the sort of cultured, wise beyond their years prince. The sort of more math-like type. And I am absolutely shocked that Valoria is this low. She carried me through some of the late game chapters, so I feel bad that she's actually kind of low here. And this ending is a bit weird. It mentions her traveling to her father's birthplace. Yeah, see her father's paired ending and you'll see why that's going to be a bit awkward. Another case why the paired endings are a little... Anyway. And here's Nina, who just edged her out, interestingly enough. I never expected to be using Nina, but then again, Camilla's mother inheritance seems to be ridiculously overpowered, so that's basically what happens. And yeah, so after the war, she put her snooping skills to good use, though I thought she'd become some kind of like official spy leader rather than an undercover vigilante group. And Dwyer. Dwyer will go down in history as the one who actually defeated King Giant Ham, not a villain, surprising himself most of all. And he'll go down in history as an awesome butler, and as... Why is it mentioned tea there? I thought his thing was coffee. Oh well. We should be getting into the paired ending soon. Hey, here we go, here's the first one, Laszlo and Perry. Like I said in my character rankings, I really think that this is the one thing that redeemed Perry for me as a character. If it weren't for this support, I'd probably end up hating her. But records of her ended around the same time, so she might have gone with him back to Yllis. And yes, thankfully she stopped murdering people. And hey, it's Percy. Percy, I'm surprised Percy ranked higher than Valoria here. Yeah, he might not have been that useful to me, but I still liked him. And yeah, he's, leading a squad of Wyvern Knights. And this last line terrifies me. No, don't bring back generic enemy Wyverns, please don't. That would be horrifying. And next is Midori, who gets slightly higher than him. I still feel a bit bad that I didn't use her in the final chapter, but I felt at that point she wasn't really being that useful outside of lethality, so she didn't have that high resistance niche that her father did, so I felt like if I was going to drop anyone, it would be her, which is kind of a shame, but oh well. She was still great, though. And Charlotte and Benny, definitely my favourite pairing for Charlotte, and I just really love this as a pairing because it's one where Benny already accepted her for who she is. He's always been her friend constantly, and I just really like that in a pairing. And Charlotte's ending here is a little generic, but oh well. At least they had a happy life. And apparently, this is the most popular pairing for Azura outside of Corrin, which I'm quite surprised at because I just did this randomly on a whim. And I thought it was pretty decent, like not my favourite pairing, but it was alright. And yeah, Azura's ending is still very vague and ambiguous. Did she really die on this route? It's kind of unclear. And sadly, this pairing. Yeah, I don't know why they came so high here, because I wish I'd paired Leo with Felicia. It would have helped him more in terms of stats, and I've heard that's quite a nice pairing too. Him and Baruka, the S support was good, but the rest of it was not that great as far as pairings go, so this is the one pairing in either of my playthroughs I think I've actually regretted doing. And Ophelia, who is awesome. And once again, she mysteriously disappeared. Like a lot of characters in this game, but actually not nearly as many characters as in FE12, where almost half the characters disappear mysteriously in the epilogue. But yeah, unusual names, that's great. And she went back to Yllis, so there's going to be a lot more ham over there. And this pairing. This pairing is one of my favourite in the game because not only is it hilarious, but it's also really genuinely heartwarming as well. Unfortunately, this ending is a little bit awkward. It implies that the two of them went back to Yllis together, despite their daughter going back to their home. I like to think she went back with them too, and scared the crap out of Yarn. That would have been pretty insane. And they live sundarily ever after. And then this. This is my favourite pairing for Nor characters in the entire game. I am really annoyed that it makes the child terrible, but there's just so much about this pairing that I like that I can't even go into here, really. Not enough time. Basically, just so much character development. It's one of the few Arthur supports where he's not treated fully comedically in the S support. It's just really good. Speaking of really good pairings that I like, holy crap, Mozu's victories is identical to her husband's number of battles, which is a complete coincidence, but her number of battles is insane. But yeah, Mozu and Jacob, I really like their pairing. One of the few where Jacob isn't a jerk, and it's a really nice one overall, so I like this. I wasn't intending on pairing Jacob at all on Conquest, but I ended up loving that pairing so much. And Niles and Camilla, probably on the up here because Camilla carried them so much. But Niles got a lot of fights too, surprising given how RNG screwed he was. But yeah, I kind of like this one. The two, you know, most seductive members of the army together. It was amusing and also gave a little bit of insight into Camilla, so yeah, pretty decent. And next we should have, yeah, Xander and Effie. Story-wise, I didn't really like these two as an actual pairing, though I like that Effie gets to be Elisa's sister-in-law. That's really the only reason I did this. Gameplay-wise, these two worked out really well together, being just a great defensive barricade later on in the game, despite Effie's kind of bad start. And next we should have, yeah, they better be best friends because they're sisters-in-law now. And this one. I will say, I really didn't like this as an actual pairing for their supports, but I really liked Kamui as Ophelia's mother. I felt it worked quite well. And holy crap, that number of battles for Kamui. No doubt Chapter 15 helped there. But yes, written about and by him. And yeah, this one implies that maybe he didn't go back to Yllis. Maybe he stayed here in this universe. With that, I'll soon let live commentary me take over. So, yeah, see you in a bit. Expect my voice to change slightly. And yes, I know about this from the other route. I get to choose 5 characters to make into Einherjar. And I'm obviously going to choose Kamui because, let's just say, I might actually need to do something with this later. As for other characters, maybe I should actually pick my aptitude person. Probably should pick Ophelia as well. Okay, Valori is amazing, I may as well bring her along. And yeah, I can get Xander out of any playthrough. I'm not sure I want to carry over... Is it just me, or is Arthur's speed a bit higher? I'm not sure I want to carry over an Arthur who's been that badly speed screwed, unfortunately. But that's a fairly decent Mozu. Kazer's not bad either here. There is Effie too. At least we'll pretty much always end up like that. Maybe to make up for you not being in the final battle, let's bring Midori. And so, that's it. Both paths are complete. With the knowledge of both paths, Kamui now knows what sacrifices are made when siding with either country, and that no matter which country he or she sides with, there will always be pain. But now that Kamui knows the truth from this path, that knowledge is definitely going to help them. There's one final choice Kamui needs to make. One that they feel that is the only way to save everyone. We never found out who was behind Takumi and King Giant Ham, not a villain. Who possessed them? Whoever that is the real mastermind who started this whole war. If Kamui can find and defeat them before the war escalates further, perhaps all of this tragedy on both routes could be avoided. Next time on Fire Emblem Fates, it'll be time for Kamui to make the only choice that they now know that they must make. Though before then, this file might still see a little bit more use because there might be a couple of special guest battles that I'll be doing with it. So, you can look forward to those. Until then though, this is Big Klingy, Seeker of Truth and Savior of Nor. Oh, one thing I should mention about that. One thing I was hoping for in Conquest ending that I didn't actually get. I was hoping that Conquest would end with the sun shining on Nor for the first time. That would have been a really good way to end it. But anyway. So, like I said, Seeker of Truth, Savior of Nor, signing off.